this. Okay, so I mean, this is obviously now recording. I'm going to cut out the beginning part here, but so, and then when we do the calling of the elements, what we'll do is, so whoever is doing water can pour a little bit of this water into the chalice and the seashell and hold one of them up. For the north, there's a rock and a little pentacle. Obviously, candle for, I do fire in the east and a candle there, and then for this one, whoever's doing south, where I do air, can ring the bell, but just kind of hold the feathers so they don't blow away. So welcome everyone to our mid-autumn celebration. This is, so in the sort of in the cycle of the Wheel of the Year, there are 3 harvest festivals, and this is the second of the 3. Traditionally called Harvest Home is one of the names. There's also, in sort of more modern pagan usage, people call it Mabon, after the Welsh god, whose name means the great son of the great mother. He was said to have been born at the autumn equinox, and his mother, the earth goddess, guardian of the underworld, healer and protector. And then when he was 3 nights old, he was said to have been kidnapped, and then freed later and returned to his mother. This is very similar to the mythology around Persephone, who was kidnapped by Hades and brought to the underworld at this time of year, and remains with, and then subsequently freed by her mother as well, but then is goes to Hades in the underworld for the darker half of the year, and bring in, that's the cause of winter. In the Norse tradition, there's not necessarily this exact idea, but Idun, the goddess that we're going to be invoking today, also has a kidnapping story, and she's the goddess who has the apples of immortality that the goddesses eat. So we'll be invoking Idun and kind of meditating on that story today. And this will be a good time to give thanks for the bounty of the harvest, and recognize, it's also a really good time to recognize the quickly approaching winter months, Samhain, and the sort of culling and that's coming up. So beginning to think about that.
So. Here and now, let us set aside whatever may be contrary or adverse, that we might begin our rite in perfect peace and perfect trust.
So I'll just invite everyone to just stand and close your eyes. Listen to the sounds, nature, and also of the city around us, all of this light buzzing, and feel the connection with the air, the smells, the damp ground, cool sunlight, a little bit of humidity, stable earth beneath us. Just become fully present in this time, in this place. Set everything else aside, it'll be there when you come back. Just allow yourself to enjoy this time and to find some renewal in it. Somewhat
center ourselves, we acknowledge that we are on lands of the first peoples of the Puget Sound region, the Coast Salish people, and that this land is the sacred ancestral home of all tribes and bands within the Duwamish, Suquamish, Tulalip, and Muckleshoot nations. Therefore, with gratitude, we honor the land itself and its ancestral stewards. So mote it be.
So mote it be.
Let us make that which is without like that which is within, and that which is below like that which is above, by casting our circle and calling the quarters.
Once around, the circle drawn, all evil from this place be gone. Twice around, the circle cast, beyond the future, present, past. 3 times round, the circle bound, here perfect peace and trust be found. We are between the worlds, the circle is cast, so mote it be.
So mote it be.
So mote it be.
Now we will also invite the guardians or the powers or the essences of the quarters to join us and to be with us in the working of this rite.
We turn to the east direction of the sun at its rising, whence shine the first bright rays of dawn, the realm of fire. To the east and its watcher, Aldebaran, whom the ancient Greeks called the torchbearer, sparker of new beginnings, we send peace that we might receive peace. Guardians of the east by whatever name, guardians of power and passion for the will, we summon, stir, and call you forth to protect our circle, to join us in our right, and to abide with all who gather here and now. Guardians of the east, hail and welcome.
Hail and welcome.
We turn to the south, direction of the sun at its triumphing, realm of air. To the south and its watcher, Fomahat, whose ruler in the Hindu tradition is the keeper of knowledge, that is the life breath of the intellects of the wise. We send peace that we might receive peace. Guardians of the south by whatever name, guardians of truth and clarity for the mind, we summon, stir, and call you forth to protect our circle, to join us in our rights, and to abide with all who gather here and now. Guardians of the south, hail and welcome.
Hail and welcome.
We turn to the west direction of the sun at its setting, realm of water. To the west and its watcher, Antares, bright rest our hearts of the scorpion, whom peoples of the ancient Near East called Ishara, Ishtar, and Inanna, goddess of love, justice, and medicine. We send peace that we might receive peace. Guardians of the west by whatever name, guardians of love and joy for the soul, we summon, stir, and call you forth to protect our circle, to join our right, and to abide with all who gather here and now. Guardians of the west, hail and welcome.
Hail and welcome.
We turn to the north, direction of the sun at its hiding, realm of earth. To the north and its watcher, Regulus, mighty ruler of all the bountiful treasures of the natural world. We send peace that we might receive peace. Guardians of the north, guardians of all kinds of prosperity for the body, we summon, stir, and call you forth to protect our circle, to join us in our rights, and to abide with all who gather here and now. Guardians of the north, hail and welcome.
Hail and welcome.
The earth, the air, the fire, the water,
Return. The earth, the air, the fire. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return.
Friends, as we prepare for our central working, let us invoke Pagan and honor her by telling one of her stories from sacred lore.
Pagan, fair rejuvenator of the shining ones, faithful keeper of youth, we call on you now with reverence. Of you, the lore says, in the dales dwells the prescient beast. From Yggdrasil, ash, sunk down, of elvish race, hewn by name the youngest of Evildee's elder children. Hewn be with us as we honor you in telling of the sacred story of your being taken captive and your returning from captivity to freedom again. Hewn, hail and welcome.
Hail and welcome. Now we can take turns reading the story from the lore. So I will read the first paragraph, and then I will pass to the left, and we can just keep passing around the circle, reading one paragraph at a time until we get to the end. So, and the names should be all phoneticized here. Sorry, I forgot to mention.
No, that's okay.
Sorry, I missed.
No, that's okay. Once, long ago, 3 of the Shining Ones, Odin, Loki, and Henir, were wandering far from their home through vast wilderness where food was hard to find. When they came down into a certain valley, they saw a herd of oxen. One of these they took and set about cooking it thoroughly. Now, when they thought that it must be cooked, they broke up the fire and tested the meat, but it was not cooked. So they rekindled the fire and cooked the meat some more. After a while had passed, they scattered the fire a second time, but they found that the meat was still not cooked.
The three gods took counsel together, asking one another what could be the reason why the meat would not cook. Then they heard a voice speaking in the oak up above them. They looked up and saw a great eagle who declared, "I know that you have traveled far and greatly, but I am working my magic to chill your fire and prevent your meat from cooking, for I too am hungry. If you will give me my fill of the ox, then I will allow it to cook."
Not recognizing that the eagle was Thjazi, the giant in disguise, Odin, Loki, and Henir considered the eagle's request, and seeing that the ox they had slaughtered was very large, with more meat than the 3 of them could finish, they agreed to share their meal. When the gods told the eagle their decision, the eagle cried a great cry, then swooped down from his perch and took for himself the choicest parts, the 2 hams of the ox and both of its shoulders.
This enraged Loki, who seized a great tree branch, brandished it with all his strength, and drove it at the eagle's body. But the eagle was faster than Loki. The eagle plunged violently at the blow and flew away, so that the branch was fast in the eagle's back, and Loki was left clinging desperately to the other end of the branch. The eagle flew to such a height that Loki thought he could fall to his death. He cried out, entreating the eagle urgently to let him go. But the eagle declared, "I will never lose you unless you shall do something for me." "What must I do for you to free me?" cried Loki.
"I know you are Loki," said the eagle, "a god and the greatest of all tricksters. You know the goddess Ithun, who guards in her chest of ash those magic apples that all the gods and goddesses must taste whensoever they grow old to restore their youth forever. The Shining Ones entrust those apples to the watchfulness and good faith of Ithun, for she is wise and not easily fooled, and she will never knowingly betray their trust. I am unable by any means to entice Ithun to leave Asgard with her apples, but you, Loki, can do so. Swear that you will bring me Ithun, and then I will set you free." Loki assented, and being straightway loosed, he returned safely to his companions, telling them nothing of his treacherous bargain.
By and by, the 3 wandering gods returned to Asgard. Without delay, Loki went to Idun and told her that he had found such apples as would seem to her of great virtue. Loki entreated Idun to bring her apples with her, and to come out of Asgard to compare her own magic apples with the ones he would show her. Thus, Loki lured Idun out of Asgard into a certain wood.
Thjazi, the giant, had been watching from high above in his eagle's form, and when he saw that Loki had lured Idun out of the safety of Asgard, Thjazi swooped down, grabbed Idun in one of his talons, and flew away with her. Loki watched the eagle as far as it flew to the abode of Thjazi, and then Loki discovered that the eagle was the giant in disguise.
When the other gods and goddesses noticed that Ithun had gone missing with her apples, they took counsel together and asked one another what had last been known of Ithun. They soon realized that the last that had been seen of Ithun was that she had gone out of Asgard with Loki. Thereupon Loki was seized and brought to the gathering, and the other gods and goddesses threatened him with torture and death. unless he would return Idun to a rightful place in Asgard.
Fearing for his life, Loki divulged what had become of Idun and declared an oath that he would seek after her in the homeland of the giants and free her to return to Asgard. Loki set off. When he came to the home of Thiazi, the giant, Loki found that Thiazi had rowed out to sea, leaving Idun there alone. Using his magic, Loki turned Idun with her apples into an acorn and put her in his pocket.
Before long, Thiazi came home and discovered that Idun was gone. Thiazi took his eagle's plumage and flew as fast as he could after Loki, making a mighty rush of sound with his wings in his flight. But when the other gods and goddesses saw Loki racing back to Asgard with a great and terrible eagle chasing him, they gathered flaming torches and hurried to meet Loki at the gate. The eagle dived to capture Loki before he could pass through, but the gods and goddesses struck the eagle with their firebrands, causing his feathery disguise to be burned away.
Then the gods and goddesses saw that the eagle was actually Thiazi the giant. Thiazi begged the Shining Ones for mercy, but they knew that he was perfidious and would repeat his crime if given another chance. So the Shining Ones slew Thiazi there at the gates of Asgard, and Loki turned Idun back into herself safe and sound again. So the story of the kidnapping of Idun shows that when we are motivated by a sense of scarcity, by a fear that we won't get enough, we may take more than our fair share. We see that fear and greed lead to strife and ultimately to our own demise. If a scarcity mindset or anything else has led us to wrong others, we have a choice. We can either remain in the way of wrongdoing and be destroyed as Thiazi was, or make amends and be reconciled as Loki was. And if we are motivated by a sense of abundance, not by fear that we won't get enough, but by love for each other and for our entire interconnected web of being, we may learn to share our blessings in the service of life. This lesson is particularly relevant to us at the time of the autumn equinox, when we are challenged both to strike balance between taking and giving and to seek to right any wrongs we may have committed over the past year before we face death at Samhain. On the altar is a bowl of apples. These are organic, symbolizing the rich abundance of the harvest. We will begin chanting, and I'll go up to the altar, take the one apple, and then one by one, each of us will approach, take a slice of the apple. So this is a little knife here, just be careful. It's got one sharper edge, so just use that to cut, and then you can cut yourself a slice of the apple, and we'll leave the remainder of the core and the seeds and any of the apple that remains, and return to our places with our slices. And I don't know if anyone knows this chant, but again, it's a kind of a common chant, so it goes, our hands will work for peace and justice, our hands will work to heal the land, gather round the harvest table, let us feast and bless the land. Our hands will work for peace and justice, our hands will work to heal the land. Gather round the harvest table, let us feast and bless the land. Our hands will work for peace and justice, our hands will work to heal the land. Gather round the harvest table, let us feast and bless the land. Our hands will work for peace and justice, our hands will work to heal the land. Gather round the harvest. And if you prefer, you can
Sorry?
I'll cut out this part for the camera, just so you know. So it'll all excite since you're not.
Oh, I'm sorry. So I should.
You're welcome to. I just realized that.
Oh, right.
So I'll cut it out in the middle, and you won't be in it. Yeah. Around the harvest table, let us feast and bless the land. Our hands will work for peace and justice. Our hands will work to heal the land. Gather round the harvest table, let us feast and bless the land. All right, do you want to take it? And I'll cut you out again of the video so you're not in it. Our hands will work for peace and justice. Our hands will work to heal the land. Gather round the harvest table. Our hands feast and bless the land. Our hands will work for peace and justice. Our hands will work to heal the land. Gather round the harvest table. Let us feast and bless the land. Our hands will work for peace and justice. Our hands will work to heal the land. Gather round the harvest table. Let us feast and bless the land. Our hands will work for peace and justice. Our hands will work to heal the land. Gather round the harvest table. Let us feast and bless the land. Our hands will work for peace and justice. Our hands will work to heal the land. Gather round the harvest table. Let us feast and bless the land. So we see that the rich abundance of the bowl of apples, we've taken just one apple and it is provided for each of us. Now let us each give thanks in our own hearts for the many blessings we are receiving in this harvest season and eat the apples that we have taken. And the seeds and the remainder of the apple we will return to the earth, for we know that by giving back the seeds, the earth may be even more abundant in future harvests.
Friends, we have successfully completed our rite and accomplished our purpose. Therefore, let us now thank Eve for her presence in our rite and bid her farewell.
Soon we thank you for your presence in our life and for the bountiful harvest blessings you bestow on us every day. Stay if you will, or go if you must, in perfect peace and perfect trust. Hail and farewell.
Hail and
Farewell.
And let us now bid farewell to the guardians of the quarters and open our circle. We begin in the north.
Guardians of the North, we thank you for your presence in our right. Stay if you will, or go if you must, in perfect peace and perfect trust. Hail and farewell.
Hail and farewell.
I repeat the same thing.
Yeah, you can say you can move to the west if you want to describe it.
Guardians of the West, we thank you for your presence in our right. Stay if you will, or go if you must, in perfect peace and perfect trust. Hail and farewell.
Hail
Hail and farewell.
Guardians of the South, we thank you for your presence in our right. Stay if you will, and go if you must, in perfect peace and perfect trust. Hail and farewell.
Hail and farewell.
I forgot which direction.
This is the east.
Okay.
Yeah, no problem.
Guardians of the East, we thank you for your presence in our right. Stay if you will, or go if you must, in perfect peace and perfect trust. Hail and farewell.
Hail and farewell. Circle is open, but unbroken. Merry meet, merry part, and merry meet again. Blessed be.
Blessed be.
Circle be open, but unbroken. May the love of the goddess be ever in your heart. Merry meet and merry part, and merry meet again.
Thank you all for helping with